of battle in the great offensive in Libya brought about one of those moments in British history which will be recorded for all time. General Cunningham comes to see his brother, Admiral Cunningham, concerning naval cooperation in the big attack. This is the meeting which produced that classic remark, "I spoke to my brother about it." Cyrenaica becomes a huge battleground for the second time. The commander of the newly formed 8th Army leaves by plane to visit his men about to go into action. Brilliant military director in the partnership of Cunningham, Cunningham and Cunningham, axis busters of the Army, Navy and Air Force in the Middle East. The British Imperial attack opened at dawn on a November day along the whole front. Through the 10-foot thick barbed wire fence that divides Egypt from Libya, the armored columns began to sweep on their start of the great encircling movement. After many, many months of preparation, British troops could meet the Germans on an equal footing. Passing through the frontier barrier, the constant stream of our invading forces start to spread out fanwise. The plan is to pin up General Rommel's tanks within an area bounded by Bardia, Sidi Omar, El Gobi, and Tobruk. Within this region, the tank battles which followed raged furiously. These are the first authentic pictures of the opening phase of the offensive. We know full well that the ensuing battles have taken heavy toll on both sides. But surely this is a time for us to back up our men, the New Zealanders, Indians and Allied forces with high courage, and applaud their prowess, not sink into unwarranted doubt or detract from their successes. If we liken the offensive to a contest of strength between two heavyweights, we can better understand the wax and wane of battle as first one and then the other of the contestants win points in this grim arena of war. In the first round, we scored heavily. We sailed into the combined German and Italian armies, catching them completely off their guard. Many American tanks roared into battle for the first time at 40 miles an hour over camel-thorn and saltbush-studded desert. All the time, our blows were aimed at the body of Rommel's force, battering continually in our efforts to destroy it. The work of the Royal Air Force has been beyond all praise. From the start, they have won and upheld the mastery of the air. This battle of giants in the desert has more behind it than many of us fully appreciate. The eyes of the whole world are watching its outcome. The smashing of Rommel's Africa Corps will have an undeniably important effect on the war. From Admiral Cunningham's Mediterranean Sea comes naval support, which makes Bardia, Saloum and Hellfire Pass shake beneath a death-dealing bombardment. As usual, the Navy is very much there. The sky and sea around Cyrenaica are ours. The work of our land forces is a tough one. Every soldier in the field is putting every ounce of energy into the task. In a bleak and dangerous desert is being fought one of the two bloodiest battles of this war. From long-range guns, a shattering weight of shells rains down on the Nazis. A field communication post in the desert can be a very uncomfortable place unless well camouflaged. From a dugout, the artillery officer directs his fire. A few hours before the army started its advance into Cyrenaica, the Navy swung into action off the Libyan coast to prepare the way. A strong force of warships was ordered inshore, and as their main armament opened fire, the night was pierced by belching flame and a rain of projectiles. From gun emplacements on land, the artillery joins in the chorus as the offensive gets underway. The rapid movement of this fluid offensive makes yesterday's news from the desert seem old. But nothing can age the glorious attacks at the point of the bayonet by the New Zealanders, Indians and South Africans as they followed up the rapid advance of the British tanks. Before the onrush of our attack, the Germans and Italians fell back towards Sidi Rezeg. The days which lay ahead were to hold the story of that bitterly contested oasis. A silver-painted flying ambulance comes into land. One of the Red Cross planes being used to convey casualties from the forward areas back to the base hospitals. This unit of the Royal Australian Air Force is the last word in design, and by its use, many precious lives have been saved. The barren desert land of North Africa is the scene of a struggle which goes on with undiminished fury. The second round looms up, the second round in which we have to be content to match blow with blow, frequently being forced on the defensive. With hardly breathing space for either side, the ironclad hosts batter each other to a standstill. But Britain will never say halt until the final victory is won.